Hey there, David Gordon from TheaterMania here. It is Wednesday, October 7th. I'm here with Shakina Nayfack, one of the stars of the new NBC series Connecting, filmed, created, shot entirely during now the pandemic. It premieres tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on NBC. I think that's the Friends slot, which is really cool.
It is the Friends slot, yeah. Pretty amazing.
Tell me, first of all, tell me about the show.
Well, the show is about a group of friends who are trying to stay connected and stay sane with each other through the pandemic. And they're a group of friends that used to get together once a week for a family dinner. And that turns into a once a week family Zoom check-in. And we sort of follow them through the course of the last 9 months.
How did you come to get this show? Did you audition or did they come to you?
Yeah, no, I auditioned. It was one of the first auditions to be posted. Like when television got back into production just a couple months ago. And so I just sort of felt like, oh, this is probably the audition that like everyone's getting. And then they asked me to call back and then screen test. And this was actually all happening while I was recording my play. So it was a really crazy time. It went from being like months and months of like, what am I going to do with my life and how will I survive, to like abundant blessings, honestly, in a really quick amount of time.
One of the things that I know about the show, and you'll be able to tell me if it's true. So this is the first, and I'm going to get the wording right. I'm looking at the email. You're the first trans star of a primetime network comedy.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
What is that like? Like, what does that mean to you? What is that like for you?
Well, it's a huge victory for the community, first of all, because, we've been working really hard to get access to all of these spaces, and network primetime comedy is a huge part of American culture, and trans people are part of American culture and should be reflected in that. And so, I think back to like how radical Will and Grace was, how radical Modern Family was, like to have gay and lesbian characters on network sitcoms, was groundbreaking when Ellen had her own show in the 90s. And so, yeah, it's time, we're here. Welcome. At least one good thing came out of 2020,
No, and it's the representation is especially needed now, I think, with all that's going on in the world. And that's really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, trans people are targeted politically, and we're such a small percentage of the population, which makes us an easy scapegoat. And so, in a time when like all women are in danger of losing their reproductive freedom, it's really easy for people to use trans women or trans people as a wedge issue to further polarize, discussions around gender and bodily autonomy. So, in a moment that's like so politically fraught with Black trans women being murdered, every month there's news stories about that. It's just like we need to see trans people out in our media, and like, I'm really excited that I'm just going to be like hanging out with people in their living rooms once a week, and that's like kind of accessibility makes it harder to hate something you don't know.
Tell me about your character and the evolution of your character over the course of the series.
Well, Ellis is she's like a uptight kind of type A personality who like works at like a retail job and is like all hustle, loves sports, just likes to keep things going. And she, of course, gets like thrown flat on her butt by everything that happens with the shelter-in-place order in Los Angeles. And she's also the only trans girl in this group of friends. And, that starts to kind of become noticeable to her, how her struggles are kind of different from other people's. She's also maybe a little more politically brazen than some of the other characters. And so that like, creates some kind of tensions in the friend group. She's a lot like me, so that's what happens.
How are they filming this? Like, did they send you equipment, or are you just like doing everything on your phone and over Zoom?
Oh, it's over a lot of phones and Zoom. They send us a ton of equipment. I have anywhere from like 5 to 10 iPhones in my house at any given moment, a couple laptops, a bunch of film lights and sound equipment. And basically every day, I look at the schedule and I see like, okay, what is the angle we're shooting at? Then I set up that angle with camera, lighting, and sound equipment where it needs to be, and like set decoration to make sure that it's like the same as whatever we decided on. And then once I get everything kind of set up, I have a couple iPhones in like a multi-layered tripod, one that I'm shooting on, one that I'm zooming on. I have another iPhone that becomes like my remote. So once I get it all set up, then I call into the Zoom call, which is the set, which is where everyone is the entire production team and the rest of the cast. And I'm given instruction to like refine my lighting and my focus and my camera angles. And then we roll. And every actor is doing the same process at their own house. And then we rehearse on a Zoom, we read it through once or twice. And when we read it through, we get to look at each other and like say, oh, hi, oh, hey, hi. But then when we are performing, we have to look in the lens of the camera. So everything is like direct to camera, which is also really unique for a television show. I don't think you feel like you're being spoken to in a TV show the way you feel like you are with Connecting.
Yeah. And I'm sure it was a crash course in remote filmmaking too.
Absolutely. Well, now I have no excuse for like a lazy self-tape in the future. So
I want to talk about your play, Chonburi International Hotel and Butterfly Club, which was supposed to have run this summer in person at Williamstown Theater Festival. Instead, they recorded it with Audible, and it'll be released as an audio play.
Yeah.
First, tell me about the origin of the piece.
Well, the piece started thanks to a residency from the Drama League, the Beatrice Terry residency for women identified playwright directors who direct their own work. And I had just gotten back from Thailand where I had my gender confirmation surgery. And I knew I wanted to tell the story of what happened there. I had already worked on my own story through my show Manifest Pussy, but there were so many other brilliant, beautiful people who I met, and I wanted to honor them in some way. And it was really brought on by the death of someone in the close circle of community that I made there. And I thought, like, this needs to be a play. It needs to be captured. And at the same time, I was thinking about Kaufman and Ferber's Stage Door, which is like this play that really affected me when I was young. I think I was in junior high and I saw the local high school do it. And just like all the...
That's not a play that you hear in conversation much. So I
know, but yeah, I saw it growing, at this high school, and when I was like a little teenager, like preteen even, and these high school girls were so glamorous and so mature and so elegant and so funny. And so I just thought, like, wow, like what if instead of a hotel full of actresses in the 1940s, it was like this hotel full of trans women in 2020 in Thailand, or 2016 is when the play takes place. Yeah, so it has this like homage to like the classic hotel comedies of yesteryear, but it's like very, contemporary in terms of its character and storylines and stuff.
What was your reaction when you heard that Audible was going to record it? And ostensibly, it'll have a longer life on audio than it would.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy because for one thing, Kate Bornstein plays a starring role in the piece, and it's just really important for me that the world get to hear her work and her performance on this material. And theater has a way of like just pushing the goalpost, and that was even before COVID-19.
Yeah.
So now I feel like, boom, there's a definitive recording. This is what the show is. One day we'll see it on stage or screen, but at least people can enjoy the story. And really the text of it is so musical that I've, as like, and especially an early career writer, like I only get to hear my work in like readings, so I'm used to like that jovial pace that you get when there's no blocking, and so it's great that it just gets to be like heard like readers theater, at least it exists.
We don't have to worry about transitions.
Yeah, exactly. Had enough of those.
What was the recording process for that? Like, I know you were telling me it was like dozens and dozens of people.
Yeah, so similar to Connecting, we had this was all done on Amazon Chime, which is like their version of video conferencing.
Yeah.
And we had the entire cast, which is the cast of 13, plus the creative teams, another few people, plus audio engineers and producers. So all in all, maybe 20 people on the line at any time. And we didn't read through the play beginning to end. We broke it up into scenes, and we were able to like, revisit and re-record and check lines and do them again. And even now we're still in the editing process and might have the ability to re-record a couple things, which is great because it was so technologically fraught, like there's Annie Golden recording in the corner of her living room on this like equipment at Audible Center with the internet going out. And I'm just like, these, I mean, this entire company, they're so brilliant and generous. And really anyone who's ever worked on Butterfly Club has just brought like a sort of angelic support to it, because I think people believe that the story is important and meaningful. So the spirit was always high, but oof, the tech was rough.
Are you the kind of theater artist that are like, okay, the audio version exists, it's available for the world, now the play is frozen, I'm never going to rewrite it? Or do you still feel like you're gonna, whenever it goes live, that goes live in person, I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I have sort of unconventional goals with the piece because I think that right now is a really important moment to keep creating.
Yeah.
So I'm really actually hoping that I'm going to be able to stage the play and film the play and make that available as well. So that's my new goal, which would of course involve some rewriting, but I'm not waiting around right now for like the out of town tryout and Broadway to reopen. That doesn't feel like my goal. I think what I'd love to see, I guess by sharing this with you online here, I'm manifesting it. The seed is being planted, but is like the Williamstown Theater Festival production of Chonburi International Hotel and Butterfly Club filmed live on Broadway for Amazon. That's like the dream, something like that. Like, so it's like, Audible has it, Williamstown has it, I have it. Let's share it.
Let's put the secret into the universe.
Yeah, because like those theaters are sitting there and they're empty, and there are and the TV industry is proving that there are safe ways to work in controlled environments. And if we can't come back to live audiences, we can at least come back to live captures, of theater being performed in a sacred space. So that's my dream. I think that would be really cool. And then I hope that the show becomes a TV show and has like multiple seasons, and like you get to meet all these other characters, and it just like spills out from there.
I'd watch it.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Shakina, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, David. It's a pleasure chatting with you.
You too. Connecting premieres tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night on NBC.
Yeah. Be well. I'll see you soon. And thanks for everything. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.